Welcome to the newest edition of the Bryan Cuzino show. This is episode numero quattro for my bilingual listeners out there. And if you only speak one language, it's episode number 4. Assuming the one language that you speak is English. So anyways, yeah. Coming to you from Florida on this beautiful evening. It's probably about 74 degrees outside, and it's fucking beautiful. A little breeze action, little tickle of air coming through the windows. And I apologize to anybody that's listening to this up north, because they're getting slammed with snow while I'm sitting here in shorts and a t-shirt enjoying the fuck out of this weather. It is quite gorgeous. But yeah, I don't know. I just I got a lot on my mind. If you don't know me, I'm a chronic overthinker. Like, I always have so much shit going on in my head that I feel it's best to get it out. And why not record the shit and make a podcast out of it? It's just a constant, just a movie that never turns off. Sometimes it's the same shit, sometimes it's different shit, sometimes it's random shit out of left field. Just like, a name of some chick that I dated in like fucking 7th grade, and I'm like, what the fuck? Just like out of left field. It just has nothing to do with my life, because my hard drive is so bogged down with thoughts that are meaningless, that like if I could shave them down to meaningful thoughts, it would free up a lot more space for other things. Like, I feel like simplistic people have the ability to only capture thoughts that are meaningful. For some reason, I have a shit ton of information in my brain that is the most useless shit ever. Like, I'm pretty decent at Jeopardy because of the ridiculous shit that is in my head. I mean, I wish there was some way to like defragment my my hard drive, my mental hard drive. I mean, in some ways it's really good, because if I get a hold of a subject that I really enjoy, whether it be poker or, some type of food, something, or a TV show or a movie, when I get a hold of it, like, I really get a fucking hold of it. Like, I dig in deep. Like, I want to know characters. I want to know plot twists. I want to know settings, locations, character. Like, I want to know everything about everything. It's like I look around into the deepest, darkest corners of things that the average person doesn't necessarily go deep enough to find. It's because I'm always questioning. Like, questions for me are always way deeper than the average person. Like, let's just say I meet somebody. Like, hey, how you doing? Oh, that's good, yeah. Like, small talk. Hey, my name is Dave. Oh, yeah, I'm Bryan. It's like, yeah, I'm having small talk, like, physically with the person, but in my mind, it's nothing but questions. It's like, how old is that person? Oh, is that an accent? Where must, that accent come from? Oh, well, he's wearing these type of jeans. Why does he wear those kinds of jeans? Like, what about that shirt? And, he has weird mannerisms, or blinks too much, or heavy breathing, or, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I'm constantly overanalyzing each situation. I mean, it's truly a gift and a curse. I hear people say that shit all the time, but it truly is, because, like, in the things that I really love, without like saying, like bragging in any sort of way. Like I'm really good at the things that I really enjoy, but I'm really shitty at things that I dislike. And that's fine with me. Like I've come to the conclusion that I don't give a shit that I'm shitty at things I don't care about, because I don't fucking care about them. Some people are displeased and never happy, and they just want to be good at so many different things. I've just come to the realization that certain things are just not meant for me. You know what I mean? I'm not supposed to be a fucking, you know, a fucking whatever. I'm not supposed to be a lawn maintenance care guy. You know, don't get me wrong. If I cut grass, I want the lines to fucking, I want that Yankee Stadium look where, you know, all the lines match up and the edging is pretty. And for sure, if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna try to do it as good as I can. But it's like, I don't care if it doesn't come out. So there's no line, there's no wall, there's no like net that is like, oh well, you're doing a shitty job, so you should, you know, you should scale back a little and fucking really try to do a good job. There's no questioning. When it's something that I dislike, I don't question myself. I just don't. If I tend to fall off the rail and do something shitty, then fuck it. I don't care, because it's not going to affect me. It's almost like I'm putting a surplus of energy and force into the things that I love to do. You know? And I just feel like people with my sort of mindset end up like having these great breakthroughs and these genius like aha moments, because they're so deep into what they love to do. Like the subject just compels them, and they get obsessed with it, and it's like it's everything. Like they fucking go to sleep thinking about it, wake up thinking about it, they're on the shitter thinking about it. It's just like it consumes them. You know, it's just like the way how I feel like athletes and comedians and actors and people like that are really dialed into their craft. And I'm not talking like just somebody who does it part-time, weekend warrior type of shit. I mean like true actors, like method actors, like the Heath Ledgers of the world, R.I.P. The fucking Robin Williams of the world, also R.I.P. And it's just like those people can really reach some monumental shit because they're so deep into their craft. You know what I mean? And it's a certain mindset. There's people that will never get that deep into their passion because A, they don't find their passion, or their mind is just not set up like that. It's like they find happiness in a mundane job. And honestly, I'm fucking jealous that somebody could wake up every day, go to Subway, make sandwiches for somebody, and truly be happy. And that's fine. I don't have a problem with that at all. Like I said, I'm jealous. Like, I wish that I could find happiness in mundane activities, jobs, whatever it may be. Like, I just can't find happiness because I know there's better out there because of the questioning. It brings it all back to the overthinking and the constant, you know, positive or negative questioning whether, oh well, is this true, is that not true, is there better. It's like I don't do well at normal jobs. I mean, currently, yes, I'm in a normal punch a clock kind of job, but it's not a normal job. It's not a cube and you're just sitting there all day doing work. Like it's a social kind of job, and I enjoy it completely. It's just that just the ideology of punching a clock is so hard for me to like just understand. Not understand, because I do understand it, but it's tough for my mind to just be okay with it. You know what I mean? It's just like I used to own a business when I was really young in my 20s. I opened a business, And ever since that point, I've always had the mindset of like, okay, well, working for myself is definitely the way to go. So it's like once your mind experiences the things that are out there that are outside of the normal, off the normal beaten path, it opens up these new like neurological pathways. And what happens is once those are open, you can't close them. It's just like how people go, oh, you can't unsee that. You watch the fucking, videos on YouTube where they're fucking beheading people. Once you see that shit and it's embedded into your brain like a brand on a horse's ass, like that's it. You can't unsee it. You can't not have that memory. You know what I mean? So when you open a business, it's just you get this like sense of freedom where you get to make the schedule and you get to be the one to do everything and you have your hands on everything. And it's like even though I was the owner of the business, I didn't mind doing the small things. You know what I mean? Like let's say I owned a circus. I wouldn't mind shoveling elephant shit because I know in the grand scheme of things, it's the larger picture. I have an investment in the larger picture. I'm not talking about financially. I'm talking about just an emotional investment, sentimental investment. And you put your blood, sweat, and tears into the business and create it by hand like a sculptor. Sitting on like a fucking pottery wheel. Like you're building it with your own hands. So it's like no matter what tasks need to get done, you just do them and you don't think about them. But let's say you were a waiter and your boss is like, oh, you can wait on these, tables, and then you flip the tables. Okay, boom. Now it's the end of the night after an 8-hour shift. You're exhausted. You've been on your feet all night. You're like, I'm just ready to fucking go home. I'm going to clean my tables, sweep and shit. And then the boss goes, hey, before you go, could you fill up the ice machine and then wipe down this counter and then do... In your mind, you're like, fuck that. Why the fuck would I do that? Yes, you're getting paid. Yes, you're on the clock. But it goes beyond financial gain and what you're willing to do for the financial gain. It goes beyond that because the thing is you're so checked out mentally at that point at the end of the night that you doing these things in your own mind, you're not benefiting at all. Even though, yes, you're maintaining the job, maintaining the amount of money you make, paying your bills with that money. Yes, you're doing all those things in the short term, but in the long term, if you don't fucking plan on being there the rest of your fucking life, you're not helping yourself. You're not benefiting by doing the ice and doing that shit. But when you own the business, every time you lift a fucking finger, that sweat equity is going into your fucking pocket. None of it gets funneled out. There's no pinhole in your bank account that is dripping into the corporate bank account. You know what I'm saying? There's no like siphoning of the gasoline of your gas tank. There's no second or third, fourth party with their hand out as soon as you get paid. It's just all you all fucking day, and it's the greatest thing ever to wake up and not have that pressure, because everybody's felt it. I mean, let's say you work a normal job where, let's say you have a 9 to 5. You wake up at 7 o'clock in the morning, you might go to the gym, have a cup of coffee, do whatever. You're already fucking at work, even the second you fucking wake up. When you wake up at 7 a.m., you're working. Because you're on a constant mental countdown until you get to work. You can no longer use the hours before work to do your own personal shit. Yeah, you might be doing your normal routine eating breakfast. You're going to fucking eat breakfast anyways. I'm just saying it's not You're not going, oh, I'm going to hang out with my friends for a couple hours, and then I'm going to go to the mall, and then I'm going to fucking catch a movie. You can't do that shit. You have to, not only are you affected that day, but the fucking night before. You got to pre-plan your night before. I don't want to stay up too late. I got to get 8 hours. Then I got to get up at 7, go to the gym, do this, do that. It's like, it's not just the time you're on the clock, but it's the time that you're away from the clock mentally. You know what I'm saying? It's just like you're not, I mean, unless you're making, even if you're making a fucking $1 million a year, it's almost not worth the mental agony, the pre and the post work, because even if you work at an office building, when you get home, you want to fucking rewind, relax, unwind. I said rewind. You don't want to rewind any of that shit. You just want to fucking unwind. Because if you live that shit over and do the Groundhog Day, terrible. One of my favorite movies, by the way. Side note. Anyways, going back, it's like you leave work and you want to, you know, pop that bottle of wine, take a sip, enjoy, sit down on the couch. The problem is all the entire day is running through your fucking head like a movie, or at least my head. Some people, I guess, I'm not sure, because obviously that's not how my brain is wired. But from what I hear, some people could just shut work off. They get home and they're away from, as soon as they leave work and put the key in the door of their house, they shut it off, and they're at now in their home mind. I don't know how people do that, but I'm just saying, like, shit, little things stick with me. Like when someone says, like, you know, whatever, they give you a compliment or an insult, or it doesn't matter. If somebody says something to me that's semi-important, that thing, it sticks with me for a long period of time for some reason. It's the questioning again. It's just going back to always being on the offensive or defensive. Always being, you know, I hate to keep saying questioning, but always wondering, you know, oh, what else? Well, if this was this way, then how would that work out? Or if that was that way. It's just, I don't know what it is about the questioning, but like I said, I'm really excited that that's how my brain works, because, you know, even when I was a kid, my mother used to tell me that my brother would be running around doing whatever, and I would be in the crib. My brother's 2 years older than me, so let's say I was 3 years old or whatever. I'd be in the crib, sitting in the corner of the crib by myself, like staring at myself in the mirror, or fake reading a book or whatever. But she's like, you could entertain yourself for hours on end, like you didn't need anybody. That's how I know, even from when I was fucking born, that I was reaching into the deepest, darkest places in my mind. Like, pretend your mind is an attic and you walk up those attic stairs, and it's just like, I go deep into the corners with a fucking mop and like, or a broom, and like get the cobwebs out and really dive deep into the corners and see what's going on. Like, I want to amaze myself. Like, sometimes I come up with these thoughts and then I put it down on paper or say it out loud to somebody, and they're like, that's fucking amazing. Or like, how do you think of that? And I it's like, I'm just a vessel. I'm just a body. Those thoughts are given to me by my brain, and I just spit them out like a lightning bolt being struck down. It's like I get the signal and then I spit it out, and then somebody hears it and judges it or doesn't, or whatever the situation is. I'm merely a third party in the situation. I just listen to what the inner voice says, and I say it. It's like I have no control. I'm just a voice, and I move my mouth up and down, and the sounds and everything collect together in the air, and then it penetrates the eardrum of somebody else, and then it gets filtered through their brain. That's how they accept my thoughts. But sometimes I have these crazy thoughts and these like I said, these left field thoughts, and I don't know. I'm just very excited that that's how my brain works, because I could get I go off on these riffs, and like I'm touching every piece of my cerebral cortex, and just really giving out all the information and seeing things from different angles. I think that's the key to life. It's like a lot of people look at life in a 2D fashion. I try to see 3D, 4D, like multi-dimensional, like always trying to see something that somebody else doesn't see. Like playing these little games in my head that are only meant for my enjoyment. It's like I play like memory games and shit. Like a car goes by and I'll be like, okay, that car was red. And then another car goes by, I'm like, okay, that car's blue, but the first one was red. And it's just, I'm like, build on it. And then, like, I tell everyone around me, like, I see things that other people don't see. Because some people get so caught up in their basic mind that when they're having a conversation with someone, it's like, you ever see those old Windows computers where it says CPU usage? It'll be at 100% when, like, the computer is quote-unquote working. My brain, it's like when I'm having a conversation with someone, yeah, I'm in the conversation. And they have my undivided attention. But that undivided attention only makes up for, let's say, a quarter of my entire brain usage. Or at least a quarter of the percent that we all can use in our brains. Let's say they say, whatever, scientists, that we only use 10% of our brain. Well, a quarter of my 10%, 2.5% of my brain power is being used for that conversation. But the other 7.5% of my possible brain power is like looking around the room, like thinking about other people's lives, like diving into their conversations. Like, is that person in a bad mood? Where does that person live? What type of person is that? Do they enjoy baseball? Do they like fishing? Or are they married? Are they divorced? Is that his side chick? Is that, that family over there, it's that kid's birthday. I wonder what they got him for his birthday. And did he ask for that? And does he want to know, does he want to ask his parents if his friend could come to his birthday party? Like, and then you look at another couple and they're excited because they just got word that they're going to Greece next week, and it's the first time that the fiance is going to meet the other side. The fiance is going to meet the bride's family for the first time that live in Crete. It's just like I'm constantly surveying the environment around me, as well as holding a conversation with a person. And it's like, it's a fucking gift to be able to process so many things on so many different levels, that I feel sorry for basic people and people that can only compute certain objects and things that, and they're all tapped out. They're at full capacity. It's, to me, I feel bad, but at the same time, I know that those people can go home and put all their energy into reading a book or reading a magazine. Me, it's almost impossible for me to read a book of any kind, because I can read and then I don't retain the information because I'm constantly questioning things in the book. Like, people say that two people read a book, they may not have the same experience, because the level of creativity in one person's mind versus the other person's mind could be totally different. Like, I'm over here painting pictures and one guy's, drawing stick figures. Not that there's anything wrong with that guy, but he has the ability to put all of his computer usage and his maximum capacity into reading the book Meanwhile, I'm only using a quarter of my brain to use the book and the other 75% of my brain to question the book or the actual physical pages of the book. If it's like a used book, then like these thoughts come up like, how many people do I think read this book? Did an old woman lick her finger before she turned a page? And now there's like old like saliva residue from 1967 in a library in Iowa. Like that shit happens. I start thinking that. Yet I'm trying to fucking read To Kill a Mockingbird in 8th grade. Like I don't understand how I do have that ability, but I'm glad that I have it. It's just that it holds me back from certain things like reading books. I'd love to be like a quote unquote well-read person. It's just that my brain can't sustain that type of dialed in focus for a long period of time because it's already onto other shit. And I'm a poker player. I love poker. It's like when I play poker, it's like a field day for my brain because I'm not only worrying about the game and thinking about the moves of the game, but I'm using the rest of my capacity to judge other people. Like, oh, that person's acting strong, but last time he acted strong, he had a weak hand. It's like the perfect blend of like game and trying to make money and letting my brain sort of run wild and have the ability to process all the different things and utilize them. Because sometimes I'll just be walking down the street and it processes all these different things, but I can't utilize any of that fucking information because I'm like, oh great, I will just walk by a Chinese restaurant and it smells like duck. Okay, great. It smells like duck. I'm sure they make great fucking Peking duck, but the thing is, I can't what do I need that information for? It doesn't make any fucking sense. It's not like, oh, well, I'm going to log that information in like I'm at a poker game and use that to my advantage later. I can't use, the different foods hanging in a restaurant, in a window of a Chinese restaurant. It's not going to help me at all. Unless I'm fucking starving and I want myself like a nice little, duck fried fucking rice or something. That's the only time I can use it. But I don't know. Listen, I just want to say that, I appreciate everybody listening. And this is sort of, just a medium for me to get out these inner thoughts. And maybe in the comment section below, you guys could put certain topics, and I'll talk about those topics. Like whatever. I'm not really into politics and shit, but you could put politics or fucking immigration or or anything. I'm not really a guy that watches the news, anyways. But I can, take a subject that you tell me and I could do some mild research on it and form an opinion and give you my opinion. It's just, I feel like the news is not news. I mean, I remember when I was a fucking child, the news was news. Grandma Rodriguez down the street, she she has a grandson, and the grandson is a star basketball player. That's fucking news. That's news. You're giving me information about my community. It's local fucking news. And like the CNNs of the world and the Fox News and all that shit, like that's supposed to be world news. But the local channels are supposed to divide up the country, break it down, and keep you within a radius of space and tell you about the news in that area. The problem is the fucking local news and world news and all these other news channels, they get money from advertisers. So everything's fucking tied in. It's all about business. So instead of the local news saying, hey, the fucking Pawtucket fucking Little League won the World Series of Little League this year, and here we are with Coach Davis. Coach, you want to tell us a little something? Oh yeah, we had a great team, and the fucking kids, they're so talented. That's fucking news. But when you turn the fucking news on, and they're like, oh yeah, over here at McDonald's, they're fucking Big Mac in the fucking thing. And, isn't this delicious? Oh, back in the studio we have Jerry, and Jerry's gonna take a bite of the Big Mac. It's fucking delicious. It reminds me of when I was a kid. I used to eat the fucking fries. And what are you fucking doing? Like, you're accepting money to fake like you enjoy that product. It's just such an ass backwards way of fucking doing things. I understand that local news stations don't make a lot of money, and they have to pay, the anchors and the fucking weathermen and all that shit. They have to pay, and the camera guys. I get it, but it's like you're selling yourself to the fucking devil. You're selling your soul to the devil for dollars. It's like currency's never worth more than life. I don't know whoever fucking the great sort of mindset that money will make you happy, and money doesn't bring happiness. I think that's what it is. Anyways, it's true. Money doesn't bring happiness. It can afford you things that you'll be temporarily happy for having. But as complex as the human mind is, you're not going to be completely enamored with that item for an extended period of time. Even if it's a house, yeah, you fall in love with the house, it's great. But at the end of the day, it's just a materialistic item. And the fact that anybody puts a life before a materialistic item, it's just fucking retarded. Like, people risk their freedom, their fucking physical harm, leaving kids behind. They risk things that are more important than money to make money. And that's what I don't fucking understand. Like, these fucking fishermen, the fucking Discovery Channel Wild Catch, when they do the fucking the crabs and the tuna guys and all that shit. Not so much the tuna guys, because that's like sort of safe or whatever, but the crab guys get on a fucking crab boat. Get the fuck out of here. You mean to tell me that you go out almost every day for a fucking season and you're in the frigid ocean and your shit could capsize at any fucking second? Get the fuck out. You could write me a check for $1 million fucking dollars. You wouldn't catch me on that boat for a fucking second. Like, you're risking death for a paycheck. You're risking your existence for currency. Are you out of your fucking mind? Like, I'm sorry. I'm just not gonna do it. I don't feel that strongly about currency that I need to risk my life. I like my life. My fucking life is fantastic. I live in the greatest fucking era of all time, technologically and otherwise. I mean, there's a lot of fucked up shit that's going on right now, but never has, Apple existed, or the ability to fucking FaceTime somebody, or the ability to fucking travel from Florida to Las Vegas in 5 hours. Like, we're living in a very advanced time technologically, but we're almost going in reverse as far as human growth. But what I'm saying is that I live in this time, and it's probably not probably, but definitely technologically the best time to live in. So what I'm saying is that I'm very happy with my life, and I wouldn't risk it to get a fucking essentially a tree that's processed, made into paper, and printed on. I'm not going to risk my life for essentially paper. Like, yeah, the paper has value, but what is value? Value is, or the price of something or the value of something is what somebody will pay for it. So essentially somebody else is making up the value of something. So essentially I'm risking my life for what somebody says is worth something? Does that make any fucking sense? I feel like I really went off the rails there. But there is a gem in there somewhere. And the fucking gem is, don't ever fucking risk your life for money. Because money is not as important as life. It's that simple. It's a simple thought, but what happens is the fucking TV and the media and all this other shit feeds the humans, and it sells you this whole smoke and mirror shit that, like, you need this big house and you need this nice car and you need this and you need that, and then God forbid you fall in love. Oh, you fucking fall in love and you get married, and a fucking wedding costs an arm and a fucking leg. But your wife, she's like, we gotta have the nice wedding. And you as well are like, I would love to have a nice wedding, but a nice wedding costs $100,000. And my job only pays me, let's say, $40,000 a year. Okay, so you mean to tell me you have to work 2.5 years without spending a fucking penny to pay for one day? Like, of course it's a special day, but you're gonna work your fingers to the fucking bone for 2.5 years and not spend a penny just to get married? Like, you love your wife, correct? Yes. Your wife loves you, correct? Yes. So what the fuck do you need to spend $100,000 of your hard-earned money or borrow money to pay for the fucking wedding to give to these companies that don't give a fuck about you? Like, if you really love each other, then you don't need the grandiose fucking wedding. Essentially, by you signing up to go, oh, I want the great wedding and all that shit, you're feeding the companies that continue to fuck over the bottom feeders of the company. Like the guys in the mailroom, or the janitors, or the fucking guy that sweeps up the elephant shit at the circus. What you're doing is you're feeding into that because you're giving them money for a one-day event, and they're continuing to make money and then pay their people dog shit. That's all the money goes to the top of the company. Like, you're the problem if you buy into the shit that they're selling. Like, keep it fucking simple. Like, go somewhere. I'd rather, like, you travel and, like, spend the money on experience. And, like, you know, you ended up in France and, like, your credit card got declined, so you had to, like, sleep on a park bench in France. Like, that's a fucking story. That's a memory that you can take with you. That's a nugget of life, of existence that nobody can take away from you. It doesn't matter who the fuck they are. But you could be in your house and have your whole life savings on the kitchen table. Somebody comes in, grabs your fucking life savings, and off they go. And there you go, you're done. You no longer have your life savings, but you have that fucking memory of that travel. It's like you're risking life for currency, and that makes no fucking sense because it's not the fucking same. And the faster anybody realizes that, the faster then maybe they'll say, hey, you know what? I don't need the big car, I don't need the big house. I can just live simply and truly enjoy myself. Because I think travel is like the best form of eye-opening experiences. Because you're seeing things that you haven't seen. When you get when you leave your house in the morning, get in your same car, drive on the same stretch of fucking highway, go to the same place of work, it all becomes a blur. And you're essentially fast forwarding time in your own mind, because what happens is the more you do something, the more you go on autopilot. You ever be driving at night and your mind goes somewhere else, and then when you come to, you're in the driveway and you're like, how the fuck did I get in the driveway? I don't even fucking remember. That's because your mind has done it so many times. It's like you've burned, like, let's say the motherboard of your brain is a piece of wood, like a fucking just a block of wood, and you have like a metal tool. Okay, every time you drive home, you push the metal tool inside, like you scrape a piece of the wood off. Okay, and then in the morning you get in the car, you go, then another scrape of the wood. So essentially, what you do is you're making like a divot in the wood that goes deeper and deeper every day, and that's your brain. And your brain is just so set on those roads and the corners and the turns that it's burning itself into your brain cells, and you do things that you don't realize you're doing because it's second nature. Travel is the fucking exact opposite of that. It is the absence of physical knowledge. You go to a place you've never been before, every step is a new step. Every smell is a new smell. The way the sun reflects off of a certain building, or the accent of the people that live there, it's like everything is so new, and it's your senses are like doing backflips and fireworks in your brain. But when you're at home in the comfort of your own bed, it's just like, yeah, it's comfortable, but I like to live in the uncomfortable. I like to like I said, how my brain is always questioning things. I like to be in an environment where my brain can just fucking run wild. When I'm at home, sitting on the same couch, watching the same TV, staring at the same wall, going up the same set of stairs, it's so bland and fucking boring. It's like a fucking bland chicken breast. You can't eat that shit every fucking day. I mean, you can force yourself to do it, but what's the fucking fun in that? It's like, I like to constantly be surprised. And that's why I really want to travel. I want to get in a fucking van and just drive all over the U.S. and just like, have a podcast in a random ass fucking, back room at somebody's house and fucking, it's like dive into their life and like walk a mile in their shoes and just see how somebody else perceives the world around them. It's like, I just think that would be so interesting. Like, I would love it from so many different aspects. Not just, like, I get to live it also, but, like, I get to see what they're going through. And then when I leave, it's like, I get to go back into my normal life, but I can still have those thoughts of, like, what are they doing right now? Like, 3 years down the road, I could just be like, oh, I wonder what I wonder if he still runs that store and, like, still in a relationship with that person. It's, my mind like craves different things in any capacity. It's just it enjoys just different things, like new atmospheres, and like I'm constantly going to like new restaurants and shit. And it's not just because of the food, don't get me wrong. Oh, it's because of the food, but it's also an experience. Food may account for 30%, but it's like, you meet someone that you've never met before, have a drink you never had before, like, oh wow, look at the lights. I've never seen these lights before, and like, the way they set their bar up is kind of different, and it's just, I just love new things. That's all I'm saying. I get bored very easily. I'm always questioning shit, and it's just something I gotta live with on a daily basis. But I don't know. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna wrap this up. I'm gonna let you guys think about everything that I've said, and like I said, leave some topics in the comment section. Don't feel shy about it. Just get out there. Say you want to talk about X. Okay, boom. I'll talk about X. You know what I mean? It's sort of like you have part in the actual show and the goings on of the interior of the actual manifestation of this show. So listen, you guys have a fucking fantastic evening, and this is Bryan Cuzino signing off.
I'm all done with this guy. Box him up.
That's terrible.